welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com Broiler Chicken Show. Trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Broiler Chicken Show. Back. Wow, can't write better fiction than reality, eh? Did anybody get blindsided by that this morning? Chris and I were sitting here writing the newsletter and bitching about how Alan is feeding us triggering stuff, wondering why the silly Twitter feed was inundated with Joe Biden stuff. So I clicked on it and it's like, oh, well, it turns out he is no longer candidate for the president of the United States on, what is it, November 8th, I think is the election. Wow, there's a curveball, eh? So, not quite sure how to interpret this so quickly. Mind you, one thing that did kind of surprise me was how the stock market was selling off so aggressively last week, and yet Bitcoin was actually going up. Couldn't quite figure that one out. And I was wondering whether maybe most of the stock market sell-off was just to do with the options expiry on Friday. We had a big monthly options expiry there on Friday, and usually lots of market shenanigans, let's say, we'll call them, around big monthly options expiry, the way the Wall Street pushes the market around to serve their best interests. And actually, we were even looking at one particular strike price on the S&P 500, something that was like literally about $4 or $5 million in options premiums if they could just get the market to close at a specific level. I mean, serious amounts of money on the line. Anyway, so I think the news du jour is definitely going to be the fact that Mr. Biden has decided to leave the race, and interesting in a I guess just a very short and brief letter to the American public. You can see 38 million views. You can see this thing's like almost like a ticker tape the way that it's moving. I retweeted it, and the only thing I could say was, kaboom! the anvil has been dropped. I guess what bothers me most about this, but Chris said, be careful. Be careful how you phrase this, Mr. Beamish. You might be unalived accidentally if you say the wrong things. But there is a certain female out there that I'm sure would love a rematch with Mr. Trump. And how ironic, wouldn't it be beautiful if she lost twice in a row? But I have a sneaky suspicion either she's going to come back into the fore, or maybe Miss Obama, I guess Mrs. Obama. I don't know. Who the hell can they drudge up to fill Joe's shoes? I mean, I certainly don't think that Kamala Harris, I don't think she has endured herself with the American public at all. So I don't think that's an option. So anyway, we always say can't write better fiction than reality. I'll tell you that much. Oh, Newsom. Actually, interesting. Lucas over there on the YouTube page said maybe Newsom will be injected. I think it's a bit short notice. I don't think that they want to waste his political capital. Is that the way you use it? I honestly think half the reason why Biden's probably resigning is I think it's basically a foregone conclusion that Mr. Trump's going to be swept back into power here come November. The tide is just too strong. In fact, somebody I was even interacting with on this silly Twitter platform has said that they thought that the whole assassination attempt, all that seemed very sketchy. But I was like, if Trump was losing in the polls, and Mr. Biden's ship wasn't sinking like a fucking rusty bathtub, I would say, okay, there was justification that, because keep in mind, pulling off a con job like an attempted assassination attempt, that's pretty damn difficult. And what happens if the con job of an attempted assassination actually ends up assassinating him? Are you really going to take that kind of chance? And with him, like I said, with Biden acting the way that he's been over the past month or so, through that debate and all that, I mean, Trump, you could see the body language on Trump. He's like, and then the best line out of that debate was, uh, I would respond to what he said, but I couldn't understand what he said. And frankly speaking, I don't even think he understood what he said. When I heard Trump say that, I was like, all right, this is a lock. Mr. Trump's won. I mean, this is embarrassing. Somebody, take the old man and out to the back 40 and put him out of his misery. Which I think, and oh, what a surprise. How convenient. Mr. Biden's got COVID. I thought COVID was over. I don't quite understand this. I still see idiots in my, keep in mind, communist China here. These people, they're half of them are brain dead idiots. I still see people driving in cars by themselves with masks on, which makes, I mean, I said this when I first saw this like 3-4 years ago. This is idiocy. And yet they're still doing it here in Vancouver, I guess we call this place. Actually, it used to affectionately be called Vancouver when I first came here. But anyway, and I used to go to UBC, University of British Columbia, but when I was there, everybody called it a University of Billion Chinese. So that just goes to show what the hell's happened to China. This country, it's a shadow of what it used to be. I don't even know what the hell this country is now, to be honest with you. And I think I've all told you, I'm seriously looking at picking up a nice piece of real estate down in Southern Oregon now, and sort of setting up like a nice little retreat out in the forest to be fully prepared for when the who knows. Anyway, so big kaboom here today, and probably thrown the whole market for a bit of a wrench. One thing we did notice that somebody actually in the lounge had posted literally on the event was, oh, look at what's going on here. This is a bit of a surprise. I don't think anybody was expecting this. So not necessarily, I mean, this is a 4-hour chart. We don't really have any key reversals or anything. So this one candle itself is not a sell signal as far as I'm concerned. We were making higher highs here, but what do you think the odds are that this was on momentum divergences? I'd say probably pretty good. And I would say that this break here now is probably actually confirming all those bearish divergences now. So I might argue through over the course of the next, say, 24, 48 hours, if you see an M actually develop in price, then we're probably going to be getting things like sell signals come in here. A little bit early to call a trade. And if anything, we were kind of hunting 4-hour tops back over here. And so those got busted out as the market was grinding its way higher there into the weekend, which was a little bit suspicious unto itself anyway. But I think we have to just be patient now and wait for price to actually M out before we can get our next signal. Having said that, market will do any old damn thing it wants, and we might just face rip straight down here. Who knows? The tweet that I put out today with regard to Bitcoin, and I like to do this on a weekly basis, and if you feel like it, I run my own personal Twitter stream. Although I definitely think over the next weeks and months, I should force myself to transition to the decentralized version of this social media platform. I had it bookmarked here. Oh, darn, I can't show you. Anyway, I have it on here somewhere, and basically move away from this X platform. I don't like this platform at all. I'm still using it just because, I'm lazy. But I think a conservative effort on my part is I've got to force myself to move over to that decentralized platform. Anyway, and kiss Alan goodbye, because frankly speaking, I've never liked the guy. And I think, if anything, what's really sketchy now is how he and his old partner, Peter Thiel, basically own Trump's vice president guy. What the hell's his name? I want to say Voss. I don't think that's right, but something like that. Vance. Oh, that's close. Thank you, Chris. JD Vance. And if you dig into it, woo, it's very, very shady. And it just feels as though like he's basically buying himself and Thiel buying themselves into the political hierarchy of the United States right now. I would personally like to try and move away from any association with that person in particular. Having said that, if you want to be an Allen minion, I won't hold it against you. If anything, that's the one beautiful part about our Western civilization, which I hope to fucking God we can retain, is that you still have the choice. Well, I want to be an Allen fan. I don't want to be an Allen fan. I want to be a Biden fan. I don't want to be a Biden fan. I want to be a Trump fan. I don't want to be a Trump fan. At least you still have that choice. Keep in mind, huge swaths of our society, well, not our society, our planet, you don't have that choice. I mean, you either worship the ground Winnie the Pooh walks on, or you are sent off to slave labor. And they will work you to death and extract anything that they can out of you until you die. You are unalived. So please, people, fight for your right to have the choice, to have the choice. It's remarkable how quickly that kind of stuff can slip through your fingers. If anything, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this story plays out with Mr. Trump. But if anything, that's the one thing that I did like about him, was that he still believes that people have choice in this world. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Only time will tell. So obviously, the news du jour, pretty big bombshell here out of the White House and Mr. Biden. Gee, I'd be curious to see how, and actually, Chris and I were kind of joking about this beforehand, how his little meme coins are doing. It's interesting to see how crypto coming off here in a hurry. I'm not quite sure what's going on with this screen. Something doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem to be updating. I don't know. I've done something wrong here. I don't know whether this is current or not. Friday, July 19th. Might be because I've got actually a futures quote on here. So that might be the problem here because of this CME. Yeah, that must be what's going on here. So unfortunately, I can't really report on real time out of the total market cap here. My apologies, everybody. What should I do here? I think just for the time being, we'll get rid of this just so we can see what the hell's going on. There you go. So, is that today? Sunday, July 21st. Yeah, there you go. So, interesting how we have actually a double top working here on the total. And we might even be getting double tops coming in on a lot of these names. There's the Ethereum. And actually, this is an interesting commentary on the Ethereum trade, because technically this short is still working. I've been very reluctant to take it off. I always get euchred into, getting stopped out on these things because I'm so, wanting to lock in profits and stuff. So this one I've just said, look, if I get stopped at scratch on the second half, so be it. So anyway, I don't know what's going to happen here, but if anything, I think you could make the argument that this push higher here, like I said there a few minutes ago, doesn't really seem to be showing up on the daily charts as a divergence, but I wouldn't be surprised if things like the 4-hour chart, yeah, you can see the push to new highs here. No, not even remotely new momentum here. Push to new highs on RSI, not even remotely new momentum here. And Willie actually stupidly overbought through here. And we're actually getting double top breakdowns here on Willie following. So Willie's also in divergence as well. So a bunch of divergences here in price momentum itself. We'll see how that plays out. As because, like I said, they took the market to new highs. I think they did. Let's see. 35, 40, 70, 35, 41, 50, 35, 41, 50, 35, 40, 70. So no, that is not a divergence there. So it is technically a double top breakdown. Isn't that interesting? We'll see how deep this goes here. I mean, it might just be a head fake, but and that sure, I bet that sure threw a wrench into the works of whoever it is that's driving the bus there. Probably also a really good analogy for everybody here that when these AB equals CD levels are traded to, what I've often found in my career, and if you want to take a screenshot of this and add this to your journal notes, I think this would be a really good journal entry, is you'll often see the market will just simply oscillate around that ABCD harmonic. Like the market wants this level. Also interesting too, 2.618 right in there. You know, again, off of this double bottom, the market wants this level. It's almost like this double bottom itself is actually telling you that this is what the market wants. It was interesting just working with our level 2 instructor. He's actually been on the daily brief after parties on Fridays past couple of weeks. Marat, just absolutely beautiful presentations. 1 + 1 = 3. We're all sort of working together to make not only this world a better place, but also try and educate everybody. I think Marat's an absolute godsend. He's just a beautiful human being at nothing else. Anyway, had an interesting conversation. In the level 2 program, of course, we teach you about point and figure charting and how you can use this range in the point and figure charts for what they call the horizontal count. And if you count up all the boxes in point and figure charting of this range and then break it out and then project this exact same number of boxes higher, it will actually give you a price objective. And ironically enough, it almost perfectly aligns with this chaos theory concept, where you could argue that what's happening here between this war zone and this war zone is almost like two trenches, right? You got the Russians over here, you got the Ukrainians over here, and gee whiz, the Ukrainians are taking it on the chin lately, eh? But anyway, back and forth, back and forth. They're murdering each other, back and forth. The blood's flowing. Oh, it's just an absolute mess. And then, one side gets overrun and all that energy, like when one side of a battle sort of overruns the other side, the side that is victorious, they almost are filled with like this adrenaline of victory. And think of the release of the energy up into 2.618 as that adrenaline rush. And on this site I talk about in this case the bulls feasting on the corpse of the bears, and that's their energy that's being released. And sure enough, bang, right into that 2.618, and all mysteriously that energy is now dissipated, and look what's happening. It's kind of fascinating. Of course, probably not very politically correct euphemisms. Would that be the word? I don't know. Analogies for Brian to use, but then of course Brian's a bit of a nutcase. So anyway, go figure. So point of the matter here is, looks like the initial knee-jerk reaction was to the sell side. It's interesting how we don't really even have moving average crosses here to actually justify thinking bearish just yet. I think it's probably too early to put the fork in this thing. Having said that, not the best place to be thinking about longs, I think. Unless, of course, maybe, I suppose, thinking both sides of the equation. If you had drawn bullish bot setups on this consolidation range following the ABCD that's been tagged, then that would be something like, did we get 33% correction? Looks like we just barely made it. And I'm looking for a trend continuation. So that means I want to see bot setup levels, so something along those lines. and see exactly where the low is. I'll just eyeball this for now. So there you go. Your 25 is off of the double bottom breakout. Interesting how that's sitting right at that level right as we speak. So, you know, one low, two lows, three lows. Do you have enough lows to justify taking a long shot off of this and risking to these? Well, if you're a bull and you're a rah bull, I'm a rah crypto bull. I wouldn't fault you for taking that shot. And its profit objective is, ironically enough, just a tag of good old 78.6s, 3,800 to the upside. So, as they always say, having the bull side and the bear side, that's what makes a horse race. And we'll see who wins here. So, shorts off of the original top, the free trade, sort of the runner trade, still working, but if it gets stops out at scratch, it wouldn't shock me here. Still think it's probably a little bit early to come in on new shorts here. If anything, if this is a top, what I'd probably like to see is some sort of head and shoulders failure, something along those lines. So we'll see how this develops. If anything, because we are through that July 4th holiday weekend, and man, this was such a good lesson about that July 4th holiday weekend. Where is July 4th? That's right there. So that was the July 4th holiday weekend. Coming out the other side, big fat W. Really, we've been looking at a ton of different altcoins and meme coins. In fact, actually, the newsletter this week is the highlight is about meme coins. And I guess the question I had was, do we start talking about? Is that the newsletter? No, that's not the newsletter. Where is the newsletter? Newsletter tastes great. Newsletter, can't wait. I always do this. I have way too many screens up and I never know which screen is on which. I think it's this one. There it is. Yay. What I've been sort of taught, and it's fascinating because there's such a disconnect in the market. If anything, I'm almost a little bit worried that things like Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff like that, they move too far too fast. I mean, I suppose if you are a bull, then get in there and hunt trend continuation trades. But I'll tell you, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, if we lose these lows right here, oh boy, I don't think I'd be too in love with the bull side. So if you are going to be trading this to the long side, be obsessed about risk here, right? There's your risk window. If we lose these lows, look out. This is, the one thing that bothered me about this was just so far, so fast. And you can see the same thing in Bitcoin, where, on the weekly chart, 2 weeks ago, we were sitting basically at our lows and we had just confirmed the massivest, ugliest M top, of course, through that July 4th holiday weekend into the FOMC minutes. And really what I've been conjecturing lately is we kind of like pivot through the FOMC, then rally up into the FOMC minutes or vice versa. So in this case, it almost looks like we dump through into the minutes. And are we going to rally into this coming FOMC? And that's our rally peak? I don't know. Was interesting on that Biden news. Price did pull back here a little bit, but it looks like they've quickly sort of recovered. I don't really know whether I'm overly bullish or bearish about Bitcoin right now. I think we're just stuck between this trading range. Clearly, the old highs are the top end of the range, and the bottom end of the range appears to be this weekly hammer. It's incredibly powerful signal for all of you. Make a screenshot of that. This we would call this your institutional fingerprint, right? The bar that made the low plus the preceding bar. So I still think that that's probably a pretty good pivot low for us. I doubt we go much lower than that if this thing does puke out. But in the short term here, I kind of think that, really right now we're just stuck in this triangle where there's your trading range. We're just banging around. You can almost see how the coil is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And fascinating how the coil comes to an apex right into our eclipse window this fall. And of course, the election is just over here. So, if you're a betting man, my hunch is we're going to do something like this. We're going to get everybody all uber bullish, then get everybody all uber bearish, then get everybody all uber bullish, then get everybody all uber bearish. But at the end of it, we don't really go anywhere. That's my hunch of what's going to happen here. But so what? It's just my opinion. Doesn't really mean anything. What I would just strongly suggest all of you do is try and find a setup that works, roughly 2/3 of the time. If you can find a setup that works 2/3 of the time, let me know and I'll start trading it. Most of the time setups work somewhere around 65% of the time. I would even argue on a weekly basis, this is an inside bar. That is a harami. So does that work 60-70% of the time? Seems to be working so far. I don't really ever like to take a trade just based on one reason to take a trade. So I don't quite have enough to get bullish here, especially in the face of these M's here. I see an M here, I see an M here, I see an M here. So ironically enough, for me to actually get bullish on something like Bitcoin, I need to see the market go break all this bearish structure. That means I need to actually see the market, for me to turn bull, I need to see the market come up, close above here, and then on the other side of this trend line, put in some sort of W pattern. And that would get me all bullish. So the interesting thing about Bitcoin, though, is quite often, as long as Bitcoin isn't like fall off the cliff bearish, and I would argue right now all we are is in a trading range. And also, too, keep in mind, we're also in this market state. We're in a very, very interesting place in these 4-year cycles. And actually, this kind of reminds me, we are theoretically setting a base for some sort of crazy ass rally coming down the pike here. You can see last spring that set up that crazy ass window. This spring, that consolidation set up that crazy ass window. I think we can even go back to the original one, right? That spring set up this crazy ass window. So you can't say there isn't precedent to work off of. We're setting some sort of base here, getting ready for this next crazy ass rally window. And actually, I pulled up a chart here before I got going today. I hope I still have it here somewhere. And it was something that actually kind of shocked me. But the question is, did I get rid of it? I hope I didn't. Darn. Darn. I thought it was off of here, but it might have been actually, you know what? It's this one. Yeah. Why is Bitcoin doing what it's doing? There's kind of an interesting image for you. So as long as this M2 money supply was contracting, it kind of makes sense why Bitcoin would kind of stall out here. But it looks like M2 money supply is starting to ramp up here in the States. And really, what is this all about? And I think this is about the banks in the States starting to start lending out more money and get the money printing machine going in earnest. So does this actually start ramping up? It looks like Bitcoin is expecting that to happen. And, that kind of, this sort of fits into the narrative of that 4-year sort of inflation deflation cycle. Where would be the best way to show that? I'll just show, I won't pull up the chart. I'll just show you the presentation. Yeah, what I want to show you is the cost of money. This is just a picture. So here we are. Are we starting to get back to the point where they need to start stepping in and supporting the economy, lowering interest rates, and printing money, for lack of a better term? And does Bitcoin kind of like this kind of price action? Usually when we get into this phase, this is where Bitcoin goes crazy. So, I mean, if any of you were in the, I guess that was before, well, that might have been around when Bitcoin's first started going. 2013, this was the Mount Gox big rally, all that. Of course, this was Mr. Trump's first go at his presidency, and the Bitcoin rally peak. I guess that was into 2017, 2018 kind of idea. And of course, this was whether, well, I guess this was in this window here was when we had our last Bitcoin face rip up. I don't know whether that corresponds that well or not. I should probably throw a Bitcoin chart on there. But anyway, the point of the matter here is if we're back into the phase of the economy and hearing, of course, that they're talking about mysterious new sicknesses that are coming out of nowhere to give them an excuse to stab us all again, to, of course, help the pharmaceutical industry, blah, blah, blah. I don't know whether that's the case or not, but no shortage of conspiracy theories to try and justify more corporate spending, or corporate welfare, I should say. So anyway, in this particular part of the cycle, I would have thought that at some point down the road, Bitcoin needs to firm up here following this halvening event. Right? Keep in mind the halvening event was, let's go back to our weekly chart, was way over here. And we're now 18 weeks into this consolidation. What's interesting about this, kind of like what I said with Ethereum, is you can actually make the argument that we have done 33% corrections. And I have a rule that I can't really start measuring out trend continuation patterns until I actually see a 33% correction of whatever the primary move was. So the fact that we've hit this 33% here on that big sort of orgy of selling there a couple of weeks ago into that July 4th holiday weekend, that leads me to believe that we have the basis now for a base, if that makes any sense whatsoever. What I need now, of course, and actually, I think this actually corresponds really well because I kind of think that we're in the same environment that we were over here, where the market was doing its normal seasonal correction. I mean, I tell you, if you're relatively new to this Bitcoin space, you must acknowledge the fact that Bitcoin absolutely loves to correct through this sort of April-May window. And all commodities markets love to correct through this window. And what was interesting was last year, I actually went on vacation here and I was like, well, the market's heading lower. It's doing its correction thing. Probably you'll notice here, if we do a fib off of this low back up to this high, notice we could just generally be thinking correction, not really think trend continuation, until at the very least, and let's see if I can put it on here, 33, I'll get rid of all these. Till at the very least, we get that 33% correction. So that happened. And then all of a sudden, notice, look at the date, the middle of June. All of a sudden, your hero and mine, hey, all I am is I'm about hope. I hope I can steal all your money. This guy's such a jerk. I mean, oh well, it is what it is. I couldn't believe when he goes on like CNBC and says, really, I'm actually a nice guy. Yeah, right. You're just out to make as much money as you possibly can, blah, 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 whatever. And frankly speaking, I would not be surprised if we have a repeat of this type of price action. Remember I said for me to get bullish, and like this is last year, but I went on vacation. And then when I saw this, I had to come back from vacation and go, well, okay, he went on CNBC and he publicly said, hey, man, I love Bitcoin. We're going to get an ETF here. It's going to be the next thing since sliced bread. And as soon as you hear that, that basically stopped the selling in its tracks. And this damn thing just turns around and goes straight up to new highs. Of course, all the crypto kids, they all start going crazy. And what ends up happening is that's a local top, and they have to bring the damn thing right back down to those lows, right? And wicks and tails like to be eaten. Candle body highs and lows for trade location. V bottoms need to be tested. This was so cliche. It was ridiculous. And this is what I'm fearful of what's going to happen here now. This was too far, too fast. In 1, 2, 3 weeks, boom, 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 right back up to old highs. And that's just not sustainable. It's too far, too fast. So interesting also too, notice that this is now into July. And ironically enough, through the better part of July and August, they actually engineer a correction in the crypto space. So be forewarned, folks. I actually really like this kind of thinking in here. And they say history, of course, doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. The point I would just make here is 1 low, following the 33% correction. 2 lows, rally away. 3 lows, pull back. Double bottom. Other sides of trend lines. Breakout buy signal. That's what I kind of think is going to happen here now. As I said, you just heard me ranting there for about 20 minutes. I think we are still very much in a trading range. And what I'd like to see for me to actually believe that this is a serious base and we're getting ready for our next leg up is I'd like to see successively 3 higher lows to set the base. So fast forward to today. My mouse is just a piece of poo. We got 1 low. We're rallying straight up here into these old highs. Suspicious. Be careful here. I would even say don't chase. If you're like a lower time frame trader, we'll look at things like, half-hour charts, 45-minute charts, 1-hour charts, whatever. Here are all your extension levels. Here we are up into this level here. It's waffling right now, back and forth, back and forth. Anybody who actually took this breakout here and had your stop below these lows, boom, they just stopped you out. This looks sloppy. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. I suppose, we could probably map this out, kind of thinking, same thing with the Ethereum. I might say something like there is a low and there is a high. Never did get back to 33%, so I can't really use that. And of course, this is always backwards, so let's flip that around. So I can't really use that as a level. Well, maybe I could. Let's see. Nope, not quite. So I'm going to have to come up to, maybe this old breakout high. That would make sense. So something like that. A to B, we did do 33% there. So then clone that. C to D. And of course, we got lots of 3 higher lows and higher highs there. Something like that. Yeah, that sets up pretty well. So in this particular case, you're front running the bot if you're a bull. Something along there. 1 low, 2 lows, 3 lows. Yeah, nice W. Not really the best, but it's there. I can understand if you did take that risk against these lows. Move stop to scratch hit. So I think at this point, had you taken this long, you'd have your stop right here. Notice they brought it back down. They didn't really trip up that original stop level, but interesting. Oh, come on, you stupid mouse. That's so irritating. rallied up, made a higher high, made a higher high. Yeah, you know what? For looking at this, if I was in this bot and I was kind of chicken shit and, just worried about trying to protect capital, what I would do is I would go one, we'll say higher low, something like that. Then, using the 3 high low method. Looks like a higher low there, right? 2 higher lows. Because that is a W. 3 higher lows. Maybe I go, let's flip this around. Go 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, boosh, stopped out. Maybe you're 1, 2, 3, something like that. Boom, stopped out. So yeah, I hate to say it. If I was in this, because of the volatile nature of this particular price action, I think I'd be on the sidelines now. This isn't a trade that I took, and I'm just eyeballing it here for you. But if there's any value in that, this is how I would do things, like measure out lower time frame setups. And unfortunately, that kind of volatility would probably wash me out. But this kind of looks like, to me, just in the short term, and it would make sense because there's a ton of uncertainty in the market right now. And also, too, keep in mind the stock market, it did not finish the week on a very positive note. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the stock market opens up here later on this evening. The futures and stuff like that. It'd be interesting to see how Winnie the Pooh land acts through all of this, because I did notice a name that we are interested in right now, Bubba, was coming off here. Might even give us an opportunity to sneak in on some spread trades I've been trying to get in on. But that's here nor there. Point is, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of diamond pattern, something along those lines, over the next, say, 24, 48 hours, as we try and figure out what is the market's temperament here. So that's probably the way that I would describe it. And I think that any bots here, if you're a lower time frame trader, right? This is just specifically for the lower time frame players. And frankly speaking, I don't even really like showing these kind of charts on the weekend Broiler Chicken Show, because I know most of you watching this Broiler Chicken Show are not lower time frame traders, and this is just going to fuck with your head. But anyway, it is what it is. I would just simply say, probably most of you are, investors, and you're just sort of sitting there going, do I buy Bitcoin here? Honestly, I don't really have a bullish setup here for investors to consider. What I would say is that, the moving averages that we like to study, and I know this thing looks very convoluted right now. It's probably very hard for you to see. I'll just get rid of all the drawing tools. The moving average system that I like to use, that just sort of is a great trend following indicator, is the 13 EMA and the 30 SMA as sort of your trend bias on the weekly price charts. So you can see this was last summer. Remember, I told you about how that bullish setup. I wouldn't go off of this V bottom. I would wait for the lows to be tested. I want to see 3 higher lows to set up the bullish bot, yada, yada, yada. And notice the moving averages crossed bullishly on that resolution of the 3 higher lows and a nice little W bottom right in here. And you can see how the moving averages, all 3 of them, all came together really nicely here and broke out solidly. But we don't have that situation here on Bitcoin right now. I don't think this is a good trending signal. I think, if anything, if you're looking at Bitcoin, you're too late. I mean, you came to the party way, way too late here. There are other names, though, in the crypto space that I think actually are doing exactly this right now. You want to see one? This will give the public an opportunity to actually interact with me. How long? I've been blabbing away here for an hour and I haven't even come up for air. Actually, isn't that interesting? Did you post the Zoom call link in the lounge? We not have a single person join us in the Zoom call? Wow, this is fascinating. The public's participation and I use this quite often as a proxy of sort of how the market's feeling. And then, of course, TRI. The way I actually look at TRI right now is it's an incubator. I think that's the absolute best way to describe what TRI is. What I've seen over the years is and actually, I think even my show director is producer is going through this exact phase right now. Is you come to TRI and you don't have a clue what to do, and it makes sense. You listen to this crazy ass Canadian guy who seems to know what the hell he's talking about, but half the time he's off on some crazy ass political tangent about hating his country's leaders. You wonder what the hell is up with this guy. I can completely understand that. I'm an oddball, certainly not a normal person in this world, that's for sure. But what I've noticed is that I resonate with some people. Other people, they absolutely hate me with a passion. Completely understandable. That's been the story of my life. But at the same time, too, there are enough people that I think, I try to make a positive difference in this world. And I think I am making a positive difference in this world. They buy into the message. Understand, folks. And if you're relatively new to this channel, I say, man, there's 40, 50 people here watching right now. If you're relatively new to this, it's probably going to take you a full cycle for you to actually get any good at this thing called trading. And I think I showed you there just a moment. You want to know what a cycle looks like? Did I put it away? I don't know whether I put it away or whether I kept it on the screen or not. A full cycle. No, I thought I had it on here. Well, I can always reload it. It's no big deal. Oops. There it is, right? This is what a full cycle looks like. And tragically, most new people to investing, they always come in like right at the very top of the markets. Especially, of course, if this is crypto oriented. Like when we actually get to the top of the market, TRI will be going crazy. There'll be like hundreds of people in the school program. And, half of my job is going to be to bark at them not to chase and to put their money away and learn how to play this game correctly, blah, 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 blah. So if you're relatively new to this channel and you really want to become good at this thing called trading, I would put yourself on a 4-year learning curve. And we always say that, in fact, actually, I remember when I first got into the stock market, my first job in the market was in 1988. And I remember in 1994, was when I sort of first went to work full time in the stock market. And I remember a broker dude then, I was a broker's assistant at that point, and he was talking the market with another broker dude, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, I think this, I think that, and he like literally turned and looked at me and he said, I don't even really care what you even think. Typical brokers, right? Total assholes half the time. But he said, I don't even really care what you think. Your opinion is completely and utterly meaningless. Think Gucci sweater wearers, same thing, until you've actually been through one full economic cycle in the market. So that way you know what the good times look like and what the bad times look like and how you're supposed to behave in this business. And at the time, I was like, oh, fuck you. You're a dick, man. You're a total asshole. Blah, 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 blah. Gotta say, he was absolutely right. 100% right. I know we get a lot of people that join TRI that are all full of bluster, especially when we're going through those cycle peaks. Like what we just went through last winter there. And man, they are always way smarter than me. Oh my God, they are so smart, and they just know way better than I do. And a lot of times, it's actually an extremely humbling experience for them to have to go through one of these seasonal corrections. This is a weekly chart. I mean, this looks like just a drop in the pan. But keep in mind, I mean, this is what this torture has been like for these people over the past, that was the beginning of March, right? I mean, basically, it's just been a big hurry up and do nothing there for what? What is it? It's the middle of July. It's March, April, May, June, July. This is almost half a year where we've basically done nothing. So if you don't know that now, I mean, let's take an opportunity to interact with the YouTube audience. Are we supposed to have anything in front of us right now while the Beamish is blabbing away here? Are we supposed to be? Is there some sort of repository where you're supposed to be taking notes every single frickin' day in the markets? Let's see if there's any level oneers on the call that actually can recite what you're supposed to be doing. What are the 3 questions you're supposed to be asking yourself every frickin' day? Forest Real Estate Group, brokered by EXP. Yes, our journal. Very good. One person is able to answer the question. Where's that Liz and Jimmy? Why are you not answering? I kind of picked on them a little bit over the past 4 or 5 months, but I wanted to make damn sure that they survived, because I want to be able to show my head next time I'm in Sacramento. I want to be able to say, all right, did you actually learn anything through, because they basically took a huge chance believing their next door neighbor that this crazy ass guy, this crazy ass Canadian, would actually have something of value to tell them. And it was a big chance that they took. Everybody, all of you. I mean, you make a serious investment in TRI, and you make a serious investment in me. So I want that half of the reason why I always call them out. And you're probably like, who are these two that he's always talking to? Is because I want to make damn sure that, there's Adam, their next door neighbor who referred. I want to make damn sure that they go, Adam, yes, that was an investment that was well worth making. And I trust the fact that this guy didn't fill us full of hot air, and it wasn't just some big fucking con job, which 90% of this world is these days, which just makes you sick to your stomach. All right, so let's see. Hey, Rems answered a little bit here. He says, how do you feel? What's the market look like? And what did you learn? Fucking give that Rems a big thumbs up. Way to go. You were the only person who answered. And Forrest, yes, our journal answered. Good job. You two deserve. Where's Ed and his stogies? Gotta say. So back to my incubator comment. So I think we make a really, really good incubator here. And if you just park your butt in this place and you don't go anywhere, what I've noticed is over the, let's say, course of maybe 2 or 3 years, these people become very intelligent. It's going to take you about a year to actually be sort of educated, officially told what to look for, how to behave, what are sort of, all the different fun tools that we can use to give you edge in the marketplace. It's going to take you at least a year just to be shown that information. Then it's probably going to take you about a year or so just to let it all sink in, so that when somebody else asks you, what's that volume profile thing that I always see on your screen? You can actually say, oh, yeah, that's a cool tool that measures sort of where the street is long and short an asset. And, ideally, we want to try and be buying below value and selling above value. What's value? Oh, value. Well, that represents where blah, 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 blah. That's the way it goes. So the process, nice wording, Omar. Everybody write that in your journals. That's what you're here to learn. So, as Omar says, let's fill that in. It's going to take you probably a solid year to learn the process. Just what the hell is the process? Actually, my earphones are making funny noises on me. Then it's going to take you probably a year or so to be able to tell other people what the process is. And then to actually become a professional at this and do things like actually get funded by prop firms, it's probably going to take you probably a good solid year of your nose to the grindstone, doing whatever it is that appeals to you in the marketplace, day in, day out, for maybe a year. And really, unfortunately, there's no way to put a stopwatch on it. It will happen when it's meant to happen. And it was a really good example. A gentleman that I was working with, at one point about 6-8 months ago, he unfortunately ended up going and blowing himself up a little bit and sort of, backstepping about, 5 or 6 steps. Because one day he was just like, fuck it, just let's throw on a trade. I'm just so sick and tired of this patience and discipline crap. I fuck it, just go for it. And of course, those trades always don't work. The account blows itself up, and then you're right back at square one. And he had to simply learn, I'm just not allowed to do that. And it sucks. And the irony of it all is I'm thinking of one person, but I'd be willing to bet dollars to donut. Raise your hand, do like a type of, I always see the YouTubers go this, type a 1 in the chat if you yourself have ever done that type of trade. Let's see how many people are paying attention and how many people are actually honest. And you know what? I will say, I'm 35 fucking years into this damn game. I will type a 1 because there's 47 people in this watching this. I should see 47 ones here. And don't lie. You got nothing to lose here for telling the truth. But I would be willing to bet yeah, here they come. Yeah, don't lie, people. If anything, that's a big thing that you have to learn in this game is you can't lie to the market. You cannot. The market, if there's no lying, there's no cheating in the market. The market will keep you honest. And unfortunately, as new people to this game, we all unfortunately have to go through that process of getting those demons out of you, where you cannot come to the market and you cannot do those kind of trades. Because if you do, you're right back to square one. And if you want to do something like a prop firm or something like that, well, they just say, excuse me, there's the door. So, I've been talking about, hypotheticals, I guess, if you will. So, the question was, are there any markets? Well, okay, I guess there's a couple things that I'm throwing around here. Number one, TRI is an excellent incubator. It really is. It's a great place for you to just bury yourself. And my advice is take the education program. I don't think there's a better place on the internet that gives you such a robust education that not only teaches you things like risk management and working with a plan and all the tools that you need to support yourself in the learning process, journaling, logging, working with a trading plan, vetting what type of risk taker you are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But also too, where, for 36 straight weeks, we teach you different edge techniques. Well, maybe this week it's point and figure charting. You heard me talking about point and figure charting earlier. Maybe next week it's studying volume and open interest data on options contracts to get an idea where the 1% has built their edge. And can you use that for edge? By the way, our level 3 program just went through studying options data on the volatility index, and mysteriously the volatility index options data actually suggested to us that they wanted to take the VIX out around 17 this past Friday. And oh, what a surprise. Do you see where they took the VIX index? Keep in mind, the VIX index was sitting down here basically 12, 11, 13 area for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And then, in class, we were like, oh, isn't this kind of interesting? It looks like the 1% wants the VIX index. And we did this module over here, and we were able to discern that actually they wanted to take the VIX index out or up around 17, right? There's 17 right there. And oh, what a surprise. Look where the VIX index is. How mysterious. So, I mean, every single week of the education program, it's just more and more edge. So, as I said, I think TRI is an absolutely incredible incubator. One thing that kind of bums me out, though, is I do see that either one of two things happen. You go through the incubation process and you get to the point where you are educated and you're a market participant and you know what you're doing. And you either join the TRI team and is either, somebody who works in the, video production or in the education or in the marketing department or development, etc., portfolio management department, or you head off on your own way. And I tell you, we've created some absolute monster portfolio managers, fund managers, individual investors. Some people are actually like landed aristocracy. They actually came to China to escape the aristocracy of their original program, made so much money from trading and investing that they've gone back to their original country and now they're aristocracy there, which is kind of amusing. One gentleman, so stinking rich that he actually goes and he buys land and he turns it back into parkland in his country because he's sick and tired about the way the 1% screws the public over with the expropriation of land in his country. I mean, you can't write better fiction the way this has turned out. So I have to be immensely pleased at TRI. And I don't think you can get a better education on how to become a funded trader. In fact, actually, even our show producer director is now basically a professional futures trader with my old prop firm. And he just, goes to work Monday to Friday, trading his own accounts there. So, I mean, if you want to learn how to play this game, you want to learn how to do it right, TRI is the place. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So think of TRI as an incubator. I think it is the absolute perfect analogy, and it's a safe place that you're not going to get screwed over while you're learning how to play this game. And sadly, what it often means is I actually have to go against the grain in the context of broader market. We are in a bull market phase here, but in the context of that, when we have seasonal weakness windows where you're best to just cool your jets, what it often means is I have to go against the grain and I have to step in and say, no, Gucci sweater wearers, I'm sorry, this time it isn't different. This is actually business as usual. And if you step in the front of this, especially in altcoin land, and it turns out things like Bitcoin, they'll go through these correction processes relatively friendly. They're not going to go to zero, but keep in mind, like the total market cap, and actually, I don't know whether this is the best one to show you. I'm going to show you some of these altcoins. Holy Shiite Muslim, like the little meme coin names like this, Hello, for example. Holy crap, if you stepped in and this time it's different, right? Don't chase. I mean, you could have lost everything here in this seasonal correction. And I might actually make the argument that now that nobody is talking about a name like this is actually when you want to go and buy this stuff. It's ironic, but that's the way the game is played. So anyway, blah blah blah. Hope you enjoyed that little rant. Talk to you a little bit about what we do at TRI, what makes TRI so special. And ironically enough, I'd actually make the argument that, as these W's have come in, you can't say that I haven't been sort of barking at all of you to get involved. The Cripple and the Stellar Lumens. I mean, wow. I mean, this is everything that we're supposed to teach you. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to take these trades because they're on this silly ledger device that I have, and I've had an absolute nightmare working with that ledger. And so as a result, I've kind of left this portfolio alone for the time being. But a place that actually I'm having a lot of fun in right now that I can still basically do everything online, and it isn't messing with this ledger thing that's really screwed with my head. And of course, you guys were kind of like earlier, hey man, Brian, show us a name that looks like this, where it has this beautiful moving average. I like to call it like a sandwich, where all the moving averages all come together and they all explode in unison in one direction. And I kind of teased you earlier. Do you want to see a name that looks like that? Do you want to see one? You want to see one? Check out Solana right now. Quite surprised. I don't know where the best place to show you this is. Maybe I actually kind of like this FXS right now. It looks like it's trying to do something like along those lines. Actually, here's probably the best place to show you. Crypto, and let's do Coinbase. And unfortunately, if you didn't take the trade, you missed it. But look at that. I mean, take a screenshot of this. I know for certain I was barking about this on the site just recently. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Right? And I don't know. Can anybody see any letters of the alphabet? There's a bunch of them, eh? Down, up. We went to a new low here, so that was a little bit sketch. That kind of failed. But notice right after that, up, down, up. Oh, hello, that's a W. And then down, up, down, breakout. Oh, geez, that's another W. Two W's, all contained within this range here. And like I said earlier, I mean, you want to make it really simple. How do I do this? Oops. Look at that beautiful sandwich. That, if you want to take a screenshot, what to look for. We cover this in our moving averages module. So not really anything shocking here, especially if you ever see like W's in moving averages, like the 13 EMA. Oh my goodness, that is such a buy signal. It's ridiculous. So that was just absolutely beautiful right there. Absolutely beautiful. You can't script that any better, folks. So you want to like take a screenshot of this, right? Is that Beamish guy actually giving you any value? What to look for in the future, right? You can't chase that now. You missed the trade. It's gone. But wow, what a trade. Holy crap. I mean, that's absolutely textbook. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I wrote this, I posted this on the site, I think 2 weeks ago when that was breaking out. And I was like, holy crap, look at that, folks. But if this Solana is moving up, then what does that mean? Let's see if you guys can clue into this. And what does this mean about the market state? Think in one word and one word only. Is it two words smashed together? Could be. How about, and actually, I think I even posted it in the sort of charts um, sexy part of the post here. Guess what's back? And this is the perfect part of the year for this because everybody's in mom's basement. You know, I don't think that really anybody that's in mom's basement trading is going to be trading Bitcoin. I just don't see it. But I definitely see these meme coins back. And look at this fun little Yoshi. I mean, look at this chart. This is everything that I'm trying to teach you guys. Reload zones. And this is the kicker. 3,800, almost 3,900%. Is that to a new all-time high, Brian? No, that's just on a move back to the 50% level. That's all it is. Do they ever break these silly things out to new all-time highs? There's the all-time high. You've heard me say. I mean, let's see a good opportunity to interact with the audience here. Is there anybody that buys these wicks up here? And where are they sleeping right now? And do you think that they would like to try and get released? Adam knows this. They're sleeping on the couch. Very good, AFA. So that means by definition, right? We always say candle body highs and lows for trade location. Look at that, right? So I actually think that if you're thinking about shorting this thing, I would definitely be having that in mind. But this is 3,800% just back to the 50% level. Heaven forbid meme coins, they actually take this thing to new highs. And I mean, look how they've tricked this thing out. I mean, look at this. It's almost laughable. I mean, it's so beautiful. And there's even a guy online who's like, "Hey, if you want to, build these meme coins, watch my video, and over the course of a couple hours, you can build your own meme coin, and it'll be up 500,000%." I mean, I don't know whether I really want to invest the time and effort to figure out how to build my own meme coin, or I just going to ride on the coattails of these guys. I mean, I don't even know who this guy is, but I get the distinct impression this is probably the guy who founded this thing. And it's not really like I don't even really know the story. All I know is, hey, I've got a plan. My plan says I try and buy W's. I try and buy near the bottom ends of ranges. And this place is so damn volatile that all it's going to take is somebody just to sneeze. And you can see my purchase price, 215 here. Where do I get a double on something like this where I can sell half and get myself into a risk-free trade? Well, really, that's just basically right there. Is that at all possible over the I don't know, let's say the next couple months to get a move back to that level so I can get a risk-free trade on? I mean, you've heard me say, where are all these poor fools sleeping right now? And would they like release and candle body highs and lows for trade location? Hell, I could make the argument that we could pop up, get this thing, hell. And this is the scary part, right? Is that I'm not telling you to buy this. I couldn't give a fuck whether you buy this, sell this. So please, just all I'm telling you is what I'm doing with my money. I went and picked up a little bit of this on the anticipation that we rally up, eat this wick, eat these wicks up top here. I can get a nice double off, maybe even a triple, sell half, risk-free trade, kaboom, you're done. And then, of course, if, stupid things happen, like we bang out 3,800x%, well, it's Lambo shopping time. And I hate to say it, but, this part of this cycle, whether you buy Bitcoin or whether you participate in the poop coin type of market. Oh, darn. This is where I always F up because I have just so many charts and images I want to share with you guys. I always get the wrong ones up. But in so it's not this one. That's funny. I thought it was this image. Is it this one? There we are. in this market state, I mean, Bitcoin's probably going to do really well. But the question is, are you going to see 3,800% out of your Bitcoin here? I doubt it. Maybe, but I doubt it. That's not the image I want to show. See, this is where you're supposed to record these things, and then after the fact, you go in and edit out all these little blurps where you end up screwing up, and you can't show this. But are you going to see crazy ass market states where you get like 3,800% move on names? I don't think so. But I definitely, I mean, like now and this was the whole purpose of this, is I own tons of these things now. And all I do is I just sit and pick them off as they come along here. So this Yodo, this is just getting going. But there was a name that I just bought. And ironically enough, it's already doubled. And I just bought it the other day. And actually, I've been too slow. So it doubled today. But what the hell? I'm not really in a big hurry. You want to see how much this thing could go up? I mean, is there any room for this? It's already doubled. It's already hit my sell half on a double order. We kind of debated, what should we include this in this? But the problem is that I don't really want to hear that any of you bought this thing here. You were supposed to buy it down in like Brian's favorite fib, 78.6 is that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I suppose you could buy this W here if it comes in. But don't be shocked if you hear that I'm actually selling half, de-risking, getting that risk-free trade, and then wherever the hell this thing goes following, I don't even care. So what I would just strongly suggest all of you is just see if you can try and get yourself, get yourself going, because this is the market state where if you want to make a lot of money in poop coin land, these things are setting up. Adam, he's a total boss in the altcoin space and trading little old lady plan and stuff. And he just wrote in there, nice W's across the board on Bird Eye. I mean, you can use Bird Eye. The problem is you can only watch so many coins on Bird Eye. I do like actually this deck screener because you can see I have a lot of shit coins and I want more. I just want to keep adding and adding and adding. And at the top of the market next fall, I expect all of these things to be going crazy. And, we're probably making just ridiculous amounts of money. So, are you ready? Have you got your plan together? Are you actually in there accumulating these things? If you aren't, sorry, there's not much else I can do. They always say you can lead a horse to water, but I can't make you eat peanut butter. The W's are coming in. Are you participating? It's up to you. So anyway, there's your pitch. All right. I guess we got about a half an hour left. Good time to talk a little shop. I don't know whether we had any questions pointed out by the community. No questions? All right. So students, you're awfully quiet this term, which is a little bit scary considering that we are in a buying window here. I would have really liked to have heard that you were really, really active. So come on, level oneers. I want to see a little bit more activity out of you people. I suppose we can circle back around and look at the YouTube audience and address questions there. And I see that there's somebody that's a little bit well, suppose we can address it, but I didn't even see a please out of this person, which is a little bit cheeky. I don't know whether you use words like please and thank you in your country. Oh, there's a please. Okay, we got a please out of him. So, all right, that's good. Brian says, or Brian, Yanta Raj. Hi, Brian. What is your thoughts on USDJPY pairs, please? Check that. Give your opinion about that. All right, well, we will go. Since you did say please, we will look at it. USDJPY, enter. Wow, there's a big ugly M staring you in the face. And be careful. So you're looking at Forex. Never, ever, ever like anybody trading Forex. So I will write down, I will even put here Brian's thoughts. Number one, do not trade Forex. I don't know whether you're going to listen to me or not, but that is definitely message number one. So why you're on Forex, I have no idea, but you should get the fuck off of there as soon as you can. Let's start with a weekly price chart. Always best to zoom out. Say the weekly 4-year moving average of price, the 200 SMA on the weekly chart is sitting down here at 129. Oh boy. Very risky market state. You are asking for trouble getting involved in this thing here. LOL, why shouldn't we trade Forex? Well, very simply put, it is an unregulated market state. How many of you have been fucked over in the crypto space in the time that you've been in crypto? Have any of you enjoyed the casino? Anybody familiar with the casino? You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You liquidate me, I liquidate myself. If you have no idea what that reference to is, then you really actually don't know crypto. God, I watched a kid post that he got leverage trade liquidated something like 4 times, and he's we're starting to hear those suicide talk, that kind of stuff again, which is scary. Just understand, I'll say it, and let's see if I can say it in 1 minute. So as soon as this clock turns 12:37, I will stop talking about this. So number one, there are no posts and bids and offers on Forex. So that just doesn't exist. Do you actually even understand what Forex is? It is a network between banksters that is basically supposed to just simply be a clearing operation so that if they need to move money around the world fairly quickly, they can. And really, it's just a telephone network. I mean, that's how it started, where somebody would always be on the other end. If you absolutely needed to make a market, there would be another banking clearing firm that could do a trade with you. But really, there is no last trade. That doesn't exist. All it is just sort of like well, if you really need to do a business, there's an offer at that price. If you really need to do a business, there's a bid at that price. There's no guarantees of fills. And really, it's just to sort of give you a ballpark market. So what ends up happening is, since really there are no posted last trades, is you actually see that you can have a bid and offer on Forex, but the market will actually trade all around that. And if you like place stop loss orders, the firm that you have your account with, they can trade your stop loss order, and yet you never see the market actually print a trade at that level. And you're like, what the fuck? What's going on here? There's no regulators. So in simplest terms, it's 1237. I'm just going to leave it at that. I mean, there is a reason why we trade futures markets. There is a clearing corporation that guarantees your fill. And if you can show your brokerage house, and AKA regulator if the brokerage house doesn't honor it, but if you can show your brokerage house a print in the marketplace, 1 tick above or below whatever your corresponding order is, if you're trying to sell at 100 and you can show that the market actually traded at 101, you are guaranteed a fill. That does not exist in Forex. So, end of conversation about why you have no business trading on Forex whatsoever if you actually consider yourself a professional at this. A FYI, we actually had a gentleman out of Bulgaria, of all places, who was trading Forex over in Europe. And he was just absolutely, we trained him how to trade, and he was absolutely killing this Forex business, just taking their money right, left, and center. And mysteriously, his account was up huge. And he had on this German DAX short that was up like tens of thousands of dollars on this trade. And one day he mysteriously opened up his Forex brokerage account and the firm was gone. Everything disappeared. So don't trade Forex, you idiots. You're asking for trouble. That's a dickhead, gnarly, 35-year market veteran talking to you like a dickhead, gnarly, 35-year market veteran. Not some, oh, can you please buy my course? I'll kiss your ass. This is, don't be an idiot talking. All right. Merry Christmas. Hope you enjoyed that. Mr. Jonta, you're getting a 35-year market veteran dickhead answer to your question. Sorry. It is what it is. All right. So first off, don't trade Forex. Number two, you better not chase a market like this, because what ends up happening with people who chase markets like this, oh, maybe I'll just buy here. I don't know. Boom. And I bet YouTube probably got rid of that sound injection, didn't it, Chris? That probably didn't even come on. Or how about here? Oh, you know. Oh, good. Oh, you know what? I'll trade Forex. Oh, what the hell? There we go. Ready? Cover your ears. Boom. They slam you. So you're asking for trouble coming in on a market like this, folks. This is half the reason why we hunt M's and W's. So I suppose if you wanted to buy, well, there's a nice pretty W. You could buy that level and risk against that level, and at least you can frame your risk. All right, I'll put my stop loss below here. But remember, in Forex, you put your stop loss below here. It doesn't even have to trade down here for them to run your stops. Total dickheads. Don't trade Forex. Now, what I would say is if you did want to trade this, no reason why you can't trade what is it? 6J, 1 exclamation mark. And this is the Japanese yen futures. This is a guaranteed market. This is a regulated market. This is a don't get fucked by your Forex firm market. So I think I'd rather do the analysis off of this chart because at least I'll give you levels. So everybody should look at this big honking M up here and say, all right, clearly the market is sending us a hugely bearish message here. So when I see a big M like this in the marketplace, let's see if any of you can read my mind. What should I be thinking here? If I see a big M like this, I should be thinking one thing and one thing only. Who can read my mind? I'll give you a big hint. Make it really easy on you. Adam, you're not allowed to answer because I know you know this. 2 words. First word starts with a C. Second word starts with a T. But what I really should be saying is 1 word, German, starts with an F. And I'm having fun here talking to you guys. We got 20 minutes to go. I don't really see too many questions. So consider this kind of like what would you consider this? Consider this a master class on the Japanese yen. And yes, absolutely, Waj. We spend a huge part of our level 2 program introducing you to the futures industry, the history of the industry, the various different tools within the industry to help you understand price action clearly, commitments to traders reports, that kind of stuff. Then level 3, of course, we talk lots about options, and we spend a full month and a half trying to educate you on how the derivatives markets work. And then, like I said, once you have the information, then it's your job to get into the TRI day traders room, the TRI secret options formula room, the TRI harmonics room, the TRI lounge, and just be there for a year and just posting ideas? Am I applying this information correctly that I learned in module 4 of level 2 when I was working with Murat and trying to understand volume profile or gap theory or commitment to traders reports or WD GAN, et cetera, et cetera. So does that answer your question there, Waj? Hope it does. So nobody can answer the question? Come on. Adam, you're allowed to answer this if you want, because none of these people seem to know. Hi, Brian. Please share your thoughts on XRP. Well, we're too late on that. You missed the trade. And we're doing Japanese yen here today. Sorry. And I don't know whether I'll have enough time. Just very quickly, I already showed you this chart very briefly earlier. So nobody should be like, oh, he didn't show us the crypto charts, right? You missed the trade on Cripple. And I barked about Cripple for a while. You cannot say we didn't talk about Cripple, right? There's your Cripple trade. Even spat out really pretty W and everything. And there's your Cripple trade, and it's already done. Look at that. He hit 4.669. Thank you, Adam. You're so, I tell you, this Adam, he's I don't know whether we call him teacher's pet or not, but fuck, he's learned and he's applied this. So he makes me so happy when I see him actually respond because he knows this stuff and it's great. Like Adam, how many years have you been around TRI? Adam is a perfect example. And Jim and Lizzie, you want to get as good as Adam is? You got to stick around. Adam, please post how long have you been around TRI? And I have no worries whatsoever about Adam. Adam now will make more money than all of us put together. 5 years. There you go. Boom. Merry Christmas. And he can spot a double bottom from 500 miles away. All right. So you missed the trade on Cripple. There's nothing you can do now. And if anything, if you want to buy it, you're probably going to have to do things like reload zones against the bottom end of the range. And you have to be patient and disciplined, or you just got to leave it. And what a surprise. The reload zone is right back against the original W. What a shock. So there's nothing you can do there. All right. So, and if you did buy the W, for God's sakes, pay yourself for your efforts, you silly people. Now, where's our Japanese yen? And I remember people, I got a hard stop here in 14 minutes. So unfortunately, if this is the only thing I can do today, then so be it. I can eat, sleep, breathe the market. Man, damn straight. So you want to be a badass trader, just be like Adam. So what I said there a moment ago was I would draw chaos theory off of this huge M top, and it would probably tell us, and the number one thing you have to look at is where the hell are our chaos theory levels. And what do you think the odds are? 2.618 is just sitting right down at this level. So survey says chaos theory, bang, oh, there it is there. Ooh. So I believe we still got a little bit further to go here. So I don't think we're done. I would say, one thing that you can take away from this, and is a good opportunity for you OGers who are watching the video here today. What do we call that pattern? And is that ultimately bullish or bearish down the road? We probably would like to see 3 tags of this bottom, although, you might argue that that's the 3rd tag there, but I don't think so. I think that's just 2. And I wouldn't be surprised if 3 is down into that 2.618. But anyway, that's what's called a descending wedge. So that ultimately is bullish, but this could take a long time to sort out. Keep in mind, this is a weekly price chart. Look how long these W's take to come in. So here you can see down, up, down, breakout. So how many weeks of being patient and disciplined, waiting for that W to come in? How long did that take? That took 13 weeks. So if this ultimately is the low, then that means your bottom doesn't come in until, oh, what a surprise, heading into the election. So does that make sense? And that's assuming that the W comes in. We don't know if it's going to come in. So is there any W working here right now? No. Remember we said, what's our time-tested moving averages to tell us the trend? That's the 13 EMA and the 30 SMA on the weekly basis. Is that bullish or bearish right now? It's bearish. Can't touch that. So looks like we have the makings of maybe a fractal, but that's not enough to justify doing anything. It is good to see. We do have Willie Stupid. So no doubt about it, when this thing does finally bounce, it should, produce a pretty darn big bounce. You can see the RSI divs starting to form. In fact, you can even argue that divs have been forming here for quite a while. Having said that, yeah, this is kind of sloppy, eh? When you have these wedges that happen like this on these markets, I might argue that it's something like that. And usually what happens when you get these momentum wedges, you get these wild oscillations around these things. So I wouldn't be surprised if you got some sort of oscillation back up top there. So, I could entertain the idea of hunting for W's in price to actually frame a trade. Same thing on MACD. In fact, MACD, you see this even better. So hopefully you can see we are coiling to something big here. But the problem with this is that, and if anything, what I see here is usually this swings around violently both ways. So I don't like to look at this at all. This, if anything, when I see a coil like this, it actually is telling me, leave it alone. Don't touch this. There's nothing for, like, I've been doing this goddamn game for 35 fucking years. it's getting a little sickening how long. 36 years now, beg your pardon. One thing you absolutely must learn, people, and I need to learn this, is you only take a trade when you see it absolutely perfectly set up. And what I'm trying to tell you here with a weekly image that looks like this, there is nothing perfect about this at all. And when I look at this chart pattern, you're way too late on the sell side. I mean, there's your latest M. I suppose you could have taken that. But you're way, way too early on the buy side. There's nothing to do here. And if anything, what I would just simply say, and keep in mind, this is a weekly price chart, is what if you really want to do something on the end, is you place your price alert on that 2.618, put your little alarm bell here. And when that goes off, great. You got something to do. But as long as this thing looks like this, there's just nothing to do. It's just that simple, right? This is kind of like, maybe you look coming in saying, okay, Brian, should I do something right here, right? If we hit the replay button and went back right to there. And you're saying, okay, well, Brian, and actually this is even worse because it's got a little bit of a W here. So this is a bit of a trap. There is no W here yet. All right, what should I do here? Where's the yen going? And I'm like, there's nothing here for me to do. There's nothing for me to work off of. You got to let this thing set up, right? What does that mean? Let it set up. I don't know whether this is going to work or not. Let's see what happens. I got to see some sort of W, something. All right. Well, shit, just went to a new low. All right. And boom, since we already knew. But there's finally, okay, look at that. Now I've got something to work with. There's a W. Do you reload zone this? Try and sneak your way in off of this, off a daily price chart. It's not a bad idea. Okay, I'm just going to take the higher time frame W, and this now frames my risk. I'm going to buy there, and I'm going to risk to there, or maybe just buy a call option. right? And now we're just going to let this play out. I wouldn't be surprised if we get nice reload zone. Okay, here comes the reload zoners, right? That's probably the reload zone of the trade. And now, hey, oh, there you go. And now your trade's working. So the point being that as it is right at the present, there's just nothing to do. Sorry. So that's my answer to you. Now you're asking me, is there anything to do on the yen right now? And I would answer no. I would also answer two, what's the economic situation in Asia like these days? What about carry interest difference? Well, and so that's the point of this conversation. Why do you think this chart looks like this? The answer is people are borrowing money in Japan at like no interest. They're selling their Japanese yen and they're buying US dollars, and they go in and they buy US T-bills, which are paying like 5% interest. That's easy money. The only problem here is that at some point you're going to have to repatriate your money back to Japan. And unfortunately, that carry interest, well, that might be that difference in the currency. You see what? So ironically enough, it would be interesting. It would be interesting to see what that annual carry interest is, and then look at what the annual depreciation of the Japanese yen is. And my hunch is they're probably highly correlated. Does that make sense? And then you ask yourself, what's the situation in Asia like? Are their local economies, are they booming right now? Or are they still dying 1,000 deaths? And this is all about, of course, what the fuck is China and Winnie the Pooh doing? And I don't know whether I've actually seen China turn the corner here yet. And now the final point to this is, aside from the carry interest trade, but what is really going on here? And I would make the argument the Chinese internal economy is still going through its demographic nightmare. So how are they keeping the economy going? Well, that's all about, we have these big multinational corporations that make a lot of product and they are selling them into the US market. So as a result, something like a Toyota Motor Company does very, very well if the Japanese yen keeps falling. So it's actually in Toyota's best interest to have a weaker yen. So I hope you can appreciate that as well. And, we can go through all of these, right? Sony, same sort of thing. What the hell is Sony? What time is it? Oh, I got to get out of here. Okay, so if anything, you all got a master class on how to trade the currencies, what are the things to look for, and bottom line here is always start at the higher time frame. If I'm not at a higher time frame level where I can see reasons for the market to actually turn, then there's really nothing for me to even think about here. And I don't mean to be rude, but there's nothing for me to even think about here. Now, once we hit this 2.618, then I'd be like, all right, we've got a level to work with. Then we can drill down to the daily charts. Then we can actually start hunting for our 3 reasons to justify a trade. And I think that at some point down the road, there will be some money to be made on the other side of this. But what's really scary about these kind of markets is you'll notice that these kind of dead cat bounces, this is a complete counter trend trade. If this happens, you're going to be all angry at me because, oh, fuck, look, I missed that fucking trade. That stupid Beamish guy said that's a V bottom and I shouldn't chase that. And yet what I think happened here was this was a dead cat bounce to catch all the late shorters. They ran them out. Then they put in a new M top and they start the whole fucking trade all over again. So, I can only give you my opinion of what's going on here. And my opinion is this is a bear market. You got no business going long. And if anything, I would wait for that counter trend rally trade. And if this thing M's out again, then you got yourself the window to put on your carry trade. All right, I think we'll leave it at that. Somebody asked me to look at Ripple. We did that before. Jonta, you should give me a big thank you and big hugs and kisses. And if anything, Jonta, can you please put a comment in the comments here today? I'll be specifically looking for a comment from you, thanking me to take the time to actually look at your idea. If I don't see that, I have a memory like an elephant. I'm basically not going to talk to you ever again. So I don't know. Do you want me to talk to you again? You've been forewarned. And all I'm asking for you is just a simple comment. Thank you very much, Brian, for looking at an asset that I asked you to look at. It's going to be something as simple as that. Anyway, I did really like to see all the comments from you people in the past. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I mean, I don't know how many likes we got to this, but if you guys did enjoy that 2-hour session, 24 likes, that's not bad considering we only have about 40 people watching. But if you can, hit the like button, tell a friend. And of course, if you really want to learn how to do this game properly, keep in mind, I haven't actually seen anybody. I mean, I literally have not seen anyone. I'm hitting the bottom of my coffee cup and I've got coffee grounds in my mouth now. But I haven't seen anybody online. I literally haven't. This is a promise to all of you. I literally, of course, now I got to find which damn tab it's on. But I haven't seen anyone teach this, I don't know, approach, risk first approach, working with a trading plan. I don't know which screen it's on. I don't think it's that one. I want to say this one, but I don't know. That's right. Yeah, there we are. I haven't seen anybody actually teach such an in-depth educational program as TRI. I got to say, and what's super cool is, oh God, now what have I done? Maybe you have to get rid of the app thing. I swear this internet, it's becoming harder and harder and harder to use this stupid thing. Anyway, I have not seen a single person teach such an incredibly in-depth program as what we do at TRI. I've never seen anybody. Not only are we going to teach you how to behave, I think that's probably the biggest thing coming out of the level 1 program. How do you actually behave? But we also teach you a myriad of edge techniques. And I got to say, there's no single right way to trade. Some people are levels people. Some people are indicators people. Some people are price structure people. Me personally, I think it's actually in your best interest to have a combination of all three. Trade location, indicator confirmation, price structure, go. Half of this battle, and I don't see anybody teach this anywhere online, half of this battle is all about risk management. How much of my portfolio am I supposed to risk on any one particular trade? How do I determine whether the market's actually telling me that my thesis was right or my thesis was wrong? And if I have any business trying to protect what I'm working with in the marketplace, I better admit that I'm wrong and get the fuck out of there. Nobody teaches this online. Nobody. I think it's in your best interest. The 2 rules. Nobody teaches these 2 rules. I see lots of people go, hey, trade my indicator and you'll get rich. And I see a lot of people make a lot of stupid mistakes just trading off of one indicator. Even our TRI breadth indicator. I would never tell anybody to just trade off of the breadth indicator alone. I always say that use it as your indicator confirmation tool. There's nothing wrong with that. Point of the matter here is, You should have 3 unrelated reasons to justify taking a trade. And you should follow appropriate risk management strategies. Who teaches this in combination? If you know, if now, you know what, all I'm going to ask is if you agree with me that nobody else on the internet teaches this very unique, very thorough approach, please help us out. Help us get this message out, and just put a message in the comments. You're right, Brian. I haven't seen anybody teach this such a full-bodied approach to participating in the market. Not only what are your reasons for justifying acting in the marketplace, but then how are you going to manage yourself on a risk-adjusted basis when you do actually decide to take that risk in the marketplace. I absolutely love our team. And actually, it's kind of funny. We put together a report, and this is the polite way of talking about risk management. What's so hilarious is, I can't show you. It's already after 1 o'clock. I'm just going to leave it at that. And by all means, if you need a place to learn a little bit about what it is that we do and what our students have actually thought about our program, this is a fantastic page to just come and learn from our actual students, from our alumni, from our student body, I guess. I don't know what the better term is, but it's absolutely such a fantastic resource. So I'll put this in the comments there if you do want to actually learn a little bit about what we do. And of course, thank you for indulging me on my shill here at the end of today's broadcast. Okay, I think we're going to leave it at that for today. By all means, if you do want a copy of our newsletter in your email, you can come on the newsletter that we disseminate. We actually even have a nice little link for you. Of course, you got to find the darn newsletter. Have my problem is I always have my head on backwards. Well, I'll just go through all the tabs until I figure out which one it is. Which one was it? Maybe it was this one. Nope. Ah, damn it. Ah, fudge. I screwed up that. You know what? It's not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Over here? No. No. Oh, not weird. I don't know. Anyway, I'll just show you the, I don't know where the hell I put it. Anyway, there is our newsletter. So you can come in. Yeah, if you subscribe to the newsletter, then you get a link, a notification that that the newsletter has been produced. And of course, it's got a link straight to this show. So you can get that in your email right away. And I would highly encourage you to consider joining the site and signing up for a free 30-day trial. And then that way that gives you access. We had an absolutely incredible presentation from Murat on Friday, talking about relative rotation. So if you feel like it, feel free to join the site. We have lots of free resources here for you. And if you feel like you gotten value and you're ready to take that next step and really become the professional trader that you really would like to be, we've got, of course, a new school term here starting in September, and we'd love to have you join the program. Okay, I think we'll leave it at that for this week. Hugs and kisses, all the best. PMA for the win. Slow and steady wins the race. Hey, Rad's been here for 10 years. Right on, Rad. Yeah, that's a cool concept. Comrade. Wish us luck on the road today. You never know what the hell I'm going to run into on the roads of China these days in Vancouver. But what the hell? Wish us luck. And of course, your positive karmic wishes, I believe, help Liam out immensely. And of course, Spirit loves the encouragement. So, okay, everybody, have yourselves a great day. Slow and steady wins the race. Consider joining the site if you can. I'll leave it at that. And I suppose we'll see everybody tomorrow for our daily brief and after party offering. Then all the best, hugs and kisses. The only thing left Brian to say to you good people is bye for now.